Hello, welcome, and a pleasant good evening to you. I almost said good night, but it's really only the evening. It's very dark out. Thank you to daylight savings times and the winter being upon us. But tonight, it is a little something different here on the YouTube stream. A lot of times you watch this, you're going to get a Fort Lee game. Tonight, however, it is not Fort Lee. It is going to be freshman boys high school soccer between Ramapo and Glen Rock. This is the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament for freshmen, obviously. 16 teams started in this tournament. Now we are down to two after the semifinals were held this past Saturday. That was 3 days ago. Now here we are at the Lewis F. Cole Intermediate School, the middle school that is affiliated with Fort Lee High School, and the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. Fort Lee hosting the championship round between the Ramapo Raiders freshman team and the Glen Rock Panthers freshman team. Ramapo looking for another championship. The varsity team won the varsity Bergen County Coaches Association tournament, defeating Ridgewood in the championship round back on October 22nd. Glen Rock also made that tournament, ended up losing to Garfield in the second round, and we are just about ready to get underway here in Fort Lee. Again, a championship match between Ramapo and Glen Rock. My name is Tommy Aquilina. I will be your announcer for tonight, and your teams will be Ramapo, who right now you should notice on the left side of your field, or screen rather, and now switching over to the right side wearing green, going up against Glen Rock, who will be clad in white. Looking at the kit for Glen Rock, and they will be starting off on the left side of your screen. They've got their white jerseys, and it looks like black numbers with white pants. Meanwhile, Ramapo is decked out in green. These teams are just about set to get underway. We'll go over some of the rules for this championship round, just to catch everyone up to speed a little bit. This game will be broken up into two 40-minute halves, and then I believe if we go to overtime, they're going to play two shorter periods and then go into sudden death. We are underway here in Fort Lee. Glen Rock off to a very fast start, and the ball is just kicked out of play as Ramapo makes an attempt to save it. I believe that was number 16, Jed Silverman, getting the ball out of harm's way. So a very quick start to this game for the Glen Rock Panthers. First corner kick of the game for Glen Rock. Unsuccessful. They sent it towards net, and the save is in fact going to be made. So we're less than a minute in. We already have a corner kick for Glen Rock and a goalie save for Ramapo. This Glen Rock team is led primarily by their co-captains, Robert Lopez, number 3, and Drew Carlin, number 10. Their goalie has to get involved. Charles Garrett is the Glen Rock goalkeeper. And so each team getting off to a very fast start. We're not even 90 seconds into this one. And so Ramapo will have their first corner kick opportunity of the evening. A little bit of give and go action. Silverman on it, but it was knocked out of bounds, I believe, by Glen Rock number 9, Andrew Arraghi. Thrown in by Ramapo, and eventually kicked out of play. I believe that was Ramapo number 5, Evan Didato, trying to make something happen early on. Another corner kick opportunity for the Raiders. This time a more conventional corner kick. The header attempt is made, and it is handled by Glenrock's Garrett. First save of the night for Charles Garrett, and now Glenrock will try to make something happen. This is number 19, Owen Main, after it. Ball out of play off of Glenrock. The Raiders will get to throw it in. Immediately headed out of bounds. Throwing it in for Ramapo is number 22, George Zaka. And now Ramapo trying to maintain. This is Silverman on it, racing past defenders. Trying to send a shot towards net. It is knocked out of play. I believe that was number 7, Jacob Grinberg, playing good defense for the Panthers. Remember, this is the freshman game. Ramapo's varsity team has already won the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament, trying to also get the freshman championship as well. And now this is Main for Glenrock, chasing after it, racing up the field. Players on both teams trying to catch up with him. Main sheds a defender, tries to send it towards net. And that's going to break down. Ramapo is going to come the other way with it. Extremely fast-paced first 4 minutes here in the championship round of the freshman bracket of the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament. Player on Ramapo wiped out. They still have it. This is Silverman along with number 13, Will Panaccio. Ball again goes out of play. It's going to be Panaccio throwing it in. Headed back to Panaccio. He sends it vaguely in the direction of net. No real danger. Ramapo trying to make something happen, though. Flying in was number 15, Gabriel Sinandi. Ramapo does have a bigger roster than Glenrock, so there might be fresher legs by the end of this one on the Raider side. Glenrock head coach Thomas Dutzar is going to have to keep that in mind, of course, and I would imagine that he's done so throughout the season. Speaking of Glenrock, that's number 20, Joshua Kim, trying to kick it out of harm's way. Ramapo maintaining control, however. Couple freshman teams getting to play underneath the bright lights here on a Tuesday evening. Owen Main had it for a second. Ball knocked out of play. Throwing it in for Glenrock will be number 7, Jacob Grinberg. And he throws it into number 23, Zachary Kaplan, who has a hat on as well as long sleeves. You will notice some of these players are bundled up. It is chilly. Ball sent towards net, and it is handled by Ramapo's goalkeeper. Wearing a neon green vest so as to distinguish himself. A chilly Tuesday night here in Fort Lee. The weather has been warmer lately, a little too warm for November, but today it feels like a November night. And that's something else that both of these teams are going to have to work with. Ball thrown in by Ramapo. It's either going to go out of play or it's going to be maintained by Glenrock. Both technically, and Glenrock will get to throw in. This is one of the aforementioned co-captains, Drew Carlin, number 10 on it. He sends a pass up along the way, and the shot on goal is good, but it looks like we have an offsides. That was Grinberg racing ahead, beating his man, but he beat him by too much. No goal. 7.5 minutes gone by in this one. Ramapo sends it along the way. It gets by a Panther, but it does go out of play before a member of Ramapo could get to it. That pass nearly intercepted by a member of Glen Rock. Ramapo maintains control. These two teams making it through the first several rounds of this tournament, winning in the semifinals on Saturday. Now looking to take home the County Freshman Championship trophy here on a Tuesday night under the bright lights and under a full moon as well. It's been a good one so far. A lot of action for a game that's not even 9 minutes old. Again, the halves are broken up into 40 minutes with no stoppage time. Each club jockeying for position here. A couple players from Glen Rock almost run into each other, and Ramapo comes away with it. Or do they? Yes, they do. This is, looks like number 18 on Ramapo, but he's lost it. Now it's a foot race. 3 players collide. It's the Ramapo goalie as well as a defender and Owen Main. Main has been right in the middle of the action for Glen Rock. Him versus one person, and that Raider defender was able to knock the ball out of play and out of harm's way. And then the two of them ran into the goalkeeper. So it's going to be a corner kick for Glen Rock, their second of the evening. That matches Ramapo. Shot sent towards net, tipped out of play. Nice one-handed save. And Ramapo keeps things knotted 0-0 as we hit the 10-minute mark of this first half. Because it was off the Ramapo goalie, it'll be another corner kick on the opposite side for the Panthers. Ball sent towards net. It's headed away by a Ramapo defender. That was Jacob Sasunov sending it on towards net. Now Ramapo trying to get it out of harm's way, and they do. This is Joshua Kim with it for Glen Rock. Sending it past everybody and out of play. Number 11, Caden O'Connell, will get the Raiders started yet again. Glen Rock winds up with it. Owen Main sends it to Grinberg. Grinberg tries to make a centering pass. This is Main with it again. Main loses it, and now Ramapo coming away with it. Sasunov battling 3 Raiders. Glen Rock maintains. Now Ramapo trying to send it the other way. Neither team controlling possession for long periods of time. There have been some opportunities. And there was a goal for Glen Rock that was negated by an offsides call. We're not quite 12 minutes into this one. Ramapo is trying to make something happen. This is number 9, Alex Johnson, but he has lost it out of play, and it'll go to Glen Rock. They throw it in, and it immediately goes back out of play. Ramapo now to throw in. Glenrock almost lost it there. They do end up losing it, and so Ramapo will get to throw in yet again. Diving on top of it is Charles Garrett. There was one Raider in the area, but Garrett was able to dive on it before anything happened. Looked like it was number 43 for the Raiders getting in his face. Making another play at it, but Glenrock is going to come away with it. Grinberg gets it to Sasanov. Sends it along, out of play. Number 12 on Glenrock, unable to catch up with that one. Glenrock trying and failing to maintain. Ball getting headed and footed around right now, and coming away with it is Ramapo ever so briefly, but Jed Silverman loses it out of play. It'll still be Ramapo ball, and throwing in will be number 6, Nicholas Didato. Almost taken away by Glenrock. This is number 10, Julian Laura with it for Ramapo. And now Ramapo to maintain. Sasanov stepping in and fighting for it for the Panthers. And sending it along to Owen Main. Grinberg tried to go through the legs of a defender. He does get it to Main. Now Grinberg gets it back, settles things down, and the ball is knocked out off of Glenrock. Each team trying to control and get that all-important first goal. Finally, it winds up with Ramapo, and they'll be able to settle things down just a little bit. Knocked out of play by Glenrock's Robert Lopez, one of their co-captains, along with Drew Carlin. Not every freshman makes it on to the JV or varsity level, but you have to figure those two certainly will for the Panthers. A little bit of a pause there as Ramapo makes a substitution. And now Will Panaccio to throw in. He throws it over the head of Alex Johnson. Ball is knocked out of play. It will stay with Ramapo. 24 minutes to go here in the first half. Each team has had one official shot on goal. Panaccio launches it towards net. Jed Silverman kicks it, and it is handled by Charles Garrett. Not sure if I would give Garrett a save on that one. Ball gets by a member of Ramapo, but there's another guy right there. That's Caden O'Connell to clean things up. Glenrock does wind up with it, though. And this is Carlin getting it to Grinberg, although it was out of play. Grinberg tried to make a pass, but he was right on the out-of-bounds line, and the ball went out. Or so says one of the officials. Now 23 minutes to go as Panaccio, another long throw-in, but it winds up with Glenrock. That ball's going to wind up all the way back with Charles Garrett after it was ricocheted off the body of Andrew Aragi for the Panthers. Garrett settling things down and trying to get his team started. He's going to boot it, and it's going to wind up out of bounds. Who's going to get the next crack at it? Looks like it'll be Ramapo. A furious pace the first 10 minutes or so. Since then, things have kind of slowed down a little bit. Potential opportunity there. Silverman avoids Grinberg and sends it along. And the ball is sent not out of bounds. Ramapo winds up with it. Nicholas Didato battling a couple Glen Rock players. Losing that battle. Now it's Owen Main with it. There was one defender in front of him, and that defender, number 22, George Zaka, kicked the ball out of harm's way. Grinberg quickly gets it back in. Ramapo trying to send it the other way. They're going to be unable to. Sasanov keeps it in. He gets it back. Sasanov in the middle of the field, going from one side to the other. Looking for a man. Centering pass is intercepted by a member of Ramapo. And now it's going to be Ramapo controlling. 19 minutes gone by here in the first half. A 0-0 championship match here between Ramapo and Glen Rock. Now we've got a member of Ramapo after it. Ball is knocked out of play. And that's number 36 for Ramapo hitting the deck. No call or anything like that. He got tangled up with Robert Lopez. It'll be Panaccio throwing in for Ramapo. Moving players around, somewhat like an NFL quarterback would. Panaccio throws it in. They're going to back it out. One shot on goal blocked away. Another shot blocked away. And crisis averted for Glen Rock. The first shot was off the foot of Julian Laura. It was immediately knocked away. Ramapo maintains. Ball sent towards net. And it is handled by Garrett, who goes down to a couple knees, but easily makes the save. So I believe that's now 2 shots on goal for Ramapo, 1 for Glen Rock. We are still tied 0-0. A couple members of Ramapo almost run into each other. We are past the halfway point of this first half, so more than a quarter of this match has gone by, assuming we don't go to overtime, and we have not had a goal scored yet. 19 minutes and change to go in the first half. Ramapo has been on the offensive for the last few minutes. Chasing after it and keeping it in is number 17, Aiden Zoki. Tries to get it back to Laura, but the ball went out of play. It'll stay with Ramapo. Sending it towards net and out of play is, I believe, Zoki. And now the ball will go to Glen Rock. Looks like at least one player is tying his shoes for the Panthers. But they're going to get things started regardless. Ramapo comes away with it immediately. And a member of Glen Rock is going to get it out of there. Alex Johnson fighting for it for Ramapo. The ball once again winds up out of play. and Glenrock will try to get something going. Sasanov sends it right to a member of Ramapo, who's able to head it. Alex Johnson trying to control once again. Ramapo has it. This is Pinocchio with it, sending it back. Now it's Laura for Ramapo. Some crisp passes for Ramapo, trying to make something happen. That ball is knocked out of play. It ricochets off a member of Glenrock. Ramapo immediately throws it back in. Not a good enough throw in, though. Glenrock sends it out. Another shot here for Ramapo. And Glenrock not out of the woods yet. Fancy footwork from Johnson. Member of Glenrock sends it out of bounds. They're still not out of the woods. All Ramapo right now. Sanandi sends it to Pinocchio, who's battling multiple players now. Sends it back to Sanande. Ball once again goes out of play. I believe that was Laura battling a couple players for it. I could be mistaken, but it looks like it will be Laura taking this penalty kick. Not penalty kick, corner kick, rather. Third of the evening for Ramapo. Players get set up. Laura sends it in, and it is taken by a member of Glenrock, but they lose it again. Sanandi sends it on net, and the save is made by Garrett. Third save of the night. Maybe the fourth, but I'm pretty sure the third for Charles Garrett. He's played well for Glenrock, and he's been the more tested goalkeeper tonight. Ramapo once again coming away with it, trying to keep the pressure on. Still a little over 15 minutes to go here in the first half. Grinberg is sent on his way. He's going to catch up with it. Trying to fake out a defender. That's Silverman. Makes him hit the deck. That was actually not Silverman. It was Nicholas Didado. Not much on that kick from Drew Carlin. The save is made by the Ramapo goalkeeper. Second shot on net of the evening for Glenrock. Neither team has found the back of the net yet. This is Grinberg with it again. Good defense there by Silverman, and Ramapo is going to once again come away with it. Alex Johnson, with someone draped all over him, sends it back. Glenrock trying to take it away from Zaka. Ramapo's able to maintain. Now it's Sasanov sending Grinberg on his way. Grinberg tries to pass it ahead. I believe he was looking for Maine, but the ball is knocked out of play. Grinberg will now get to throw in. Finds a man in Carlin, and now Glenrock going to try to control. The last 15 minutes or so have mostly belonged to Ramapo. Looking for Maine, they don't find him. Ramapo trying to take it away. Drew Carlin gets it. Now Glenrock going to settle down a little bit. Joshua Kim hits Sanandi in the chest. Both teams jockeying for the ball right now. Under 13 to play here in the first half. Ball taken by Maine. Maine didn't really have a lane, so he passes it back. Ramapo taking it the other way. Alex Johnson fighting for it. Finds a teammate of his who sends it towards net, and that's going to ricochet off of a member of Glenrock. Ramapo will get to throw in. First, we're going to have a substitution. Jed Silverman sees the ball get knocked out of play off a member of Glenrock, and now he'll throw in. This is number 18. I believe that's Jackson Taylor fighting for it and losing it out of play. So now it'll be Glenrock trying to maintain it, and they might have just immediately lost it. No, they didn't. Owen Maine has it. Several players in front of him or next to him, battling all of them. He gets through them all. Sharp angle try, just a little wide of the net. There was a man there. He wasn't able to get a shot off. Maine still fighting for it. Ball sent towards net, but sent way high of net. Owen Maine with one of the better opportunities of the night for Glenrock. Got it past the goalie, but sent it a little too far to the side on the sharp angle try. Little more than 10.5 minutes to play here in the first half. Ramapo and Glenrock 0-0 here in the freshman championship game in this Bergen County Coaches Association tournament. Grinberg goes down. We play on. This is Sasanov fighting for it. Ball is knocked out of play by a member of Ramapo. Grinberg looking for someone to throw into. Finds Carlin, who battles a couple players, loses it out of bounds. Still, Glenrock ball. Grinberg to throw in again. Under 10 to go. Sasanov looking for a teammate. Doesn't find one, and Ramapo is going to try to come away with it. That should be off of Ramapo. Robert Lopez battling for it for Glenrock. A fan gets the ball to Aragi, who throws in. Aragi again. He finds Sasanov. He looks for a man, pass intercepted. Ramapo sending it the other way. This is Alex Johnson. He has Taylor to his left, waits for a few players to catch up, and now sends it back to Laura. Ramapo getting set up. Ball comes to the foot of Nicholas Didato. Silverman looking for a streaking player. Ball knocked out of bounds and actually over the stands. They should have enough balls on hand that they can just use another one. And indeed, a ball is going to be tossed the length of the field. So who's going to throw it in for Ramapo? It's going to be Panaccio. Made some impressive throw-ins so far tonight. Panaccio now. It is out of play off the foot of Panaccio. I thought maybe it went off of Grinberg, but it did not. So it'll be Glenrock ball. Under 8 to play here in the first half. It's Aragi throwing it in. And it winds up back with Ramapo. Laura to Johnson. Johnson by a couple players and passes it back to Silverman, who looks for a teammate. This is Panaccio. Panaccio runs in a little circle and passes to a teammate. Shot sent towards net. Silverman unable to make anything happen. Ramapo still has it. Panaccio almost got knocked off the ball, but Ramapo maintains possession. Almost lost it. Owen Main trying to make something happen. Ball sent out of bounds, and I believe that's going to be Glen Rock ball. It will be. Under 7 to play, but still plenty of time. Although at this point, if you give up the first goal this late in the first half, it would definitely be a backbreaker. Ball knocked out of play. Now it'll be a green ball. And now make it white ball. It looks like they've also commandeered the ball that was sent over the stands earlier. Trying to get it to Owen Main. He's been the guy who has made the most happen for Glen Rock tonight, but of course unable to get on the board. Ramapo taking it the other way. Alex Johnson chasing after it. Glen Rock is going to momentarily knock it out of harm's way. This is Sinandi with it. Glen Rock player will let it go out of play off of him. Ramapo thought it was going to be their possession, but it's actually going to be Glen Rock who has it, and Sasanov specifically to get us started here with about 5 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the half. Jed Silverman trying to steal it. He does. Sends it towards net with the left foot. Joshua Kim kicks it out of harm's way, and it's going to go out of play off of Kim. Silverman, no Panaccio to throw in. Alex Johnson not facing the net. Laura trying to get a shot on goal off. Who was that off of? Aiden Zoki was fighting for it for Ramapo, and it looks like he lost that fight. White ball yet again. Under 4.5 to go here in the first half. Sasanov once again, and it's headed in the opposite direction by a member of the Raiders. Good defensive play right there by Aragi on Glen Rock, but Ramapo still has it. Panaccio with it now, looking for Silverman, and Silverman could not get there before the ball was knocked out of play, and I believe over one of those fences by Lopez. Another chance to throw it in for Ramapo. They still have plenty of time to make something happen. Joshua Kim trying to make the slide tackle. Still fighting for the ball. Several players on both teams fighting for it. That ball might have been kicked into the arm of a Glen Rock player. Nothing was called. And now the ball is out of play off of Ramapo. Grinberg to throw it in. Under 3 minutes to play. in the first half, and it's not going to be Grinberg, but rather Aragi throwing in to Grinberg, who immediately gets it stolen away. Now Silverman, who stole it, loses it, and Aragi will throw in yet again, looking for Carlin that time. Ball goes out of play again without hitting the ground. Carlin almost wound up with it. Now it's Grinberg with it. Looking downfield. Sasanov going to try to get the ball going. No, he's going to take it himself. Ramapo once again winds up with it. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. A scoreless freshman championship game so far. Ramapo trying to make something happen late in the first half here. A Raider racing towards the net, gets it off. A shot is made, and we'll call that a save for Charles Garrett. So by my count, that is his 4th of the first half. Ball's going to go out of play off the foot of Silverman. We still have a little over a minute to go. I believe in between halves we will have a 20-minute break. And I also believe if we go to overtime, it would be in 20-minute intervals. Under a minute to play in the first half. Grinberg throws it in. Owen Main yelling for it and losing that battle. Sasanov heads it forward. Ramapo trying to knock it out of harm's way. Main had it ever so briefly. He loses it. Sasanov goes down and takes a player with him, but we play on. Aragi sends it towards net, and on a hop, it'll be handled by the Ramapo goalkeeper. Final 15 seconds of the half. Ball goes out of play. Silverman wants to get things going really quickly. They only have time for one more rush, if that. And that is the horn signaling that the first 40 minutes of this match are over. You are watching the YouTube stream of the Bergen County Coaches Association Tournament. This is the freshman championship game. Glen Rock and Ramapo tied 0-0 at halftime. It's actually going to be a 10-minute half, and then I will come back and have the second half of this championship match for you. Don't go anywhere. Hope you didn't go anywhere for too long, as we are already back underway here in the second half of the Freshman Bergen County Coaches Association Tournament Championship round. Once again, I'm Tommy Aquilina. You are watching a 0-0 tie between the Ramapo boys freshman soccer team and the Glen boys freshman soccer team. Right now, this is the Glen goalkeeper, Charles Garrett, with it. We are underway here in the second half. These two teams knotted at 0. If a goal is not scored, we will have, like halftime, although halftime ended up being like 9 minutes long, 2 10-minute little periods, obviously greatly condensed. And if we are still scoreless, or I guess not necessarily scoreless, but if we are still tied after the extra 20 minutes, then these teams will be named co-champions. Long way to go before we get there, though. Not even 90 seconds gone by here in the second half. The field has been flipped. Remember, it is Ramapo wearing green and black with white numbering, and Glen wearing white with black numbering and red pants. Also, if you're wondering what it says on the back of the jerseys for Ramapo, it just says Ramapo. So we should be just about all caught up. Again, we are tied 0-0. If my calculations are correct from the first half, we had 3 corner kicks for Ramapo, 4 for Glen 3 official shots on goal for Glen 2 for Ramapo. Obviously, none found the back of the net. Who's going to have the first really good chance in the second half? These teams came out like gangbusters the first 5 minutes or so of this one. Things ended up slowing down a little bit. Might be Glen with the first good chance. Drew Carlin only has 2 men to beat, and he actually passes it to one of them. A whistle blows play dead. Clock stopped with 37 minutes and 14 seconds to go. Looks like it's not an infraction, but perhaps an injury suffered by a member of the Ramapo Raiders. Can't tell who that is coming off the field. But again, play has been halted. The player who just came out for Ramapo is being looked at on the sidelines. And it looks like he's going to remain on the sidelines for at least a little while longer. So Ramapo makes a substitution. Play has resumed. Drew Carlin still fighting for it. He loses it. Remember, no extra time, just 2 40-minute halves, and then if we are tied after that, a 10-minute period. And then if we're tied after that, another 10-minute period. No extra time, so whenever there's an injury, they just stop the clock. Now we're more than 3 minutes into this second half. And it's going to be Ramapo getting started the other way. Headed out by Glen it will once again be Will Panaccio throwing in for the Ramapo Raiders. Remember, looking at the varsity tournament, Ramapo's team won the whole thing. They beat some good teams along the way, ended up winning the county tournament championship over Ridgewood back on October 22nd. Glen looking to match them in terms of their freshman team. Their varsity team lost in the second round. Both teams just trying to maintain control here. About 4.5 minutes into the second half. Chances have been at a premium since the first 5 minutes or so of the evening. Obviously, that first score is going to be critical. This is Julian Laura with it for Ramapo. Glen sends it the other way. Owen Main, one of the faster players on the team, is after it. Not able to catch up to that one, and it's knocked out of play by a member of Ramapo. They're definitely going to have to keep an eye on Owen Main. He almost got free 1 or 2 times in the first half for a really good opportunity. Obviously, he did not find the back of the net. There was a goal that it momentarily looked like had been scored by Glen, but the player who scored it was ruled offsides. Ball goes out of play. It's going to be thrown in by Glen and immediately knocked back out of play. About 6 minutes gone by here in the second half. Ramapo trying to make something happen. This is Alex Johnson racing against a couple players. Stops and starts up again, and he's going to end up lose the ball. Fighting with him on that one was Robert Lopez, one of Glen co-captains. The ball has been flagged down. It's going to be a corner kick for Ramapo. This will be their 4th of the night and their first here in the second half. Ball curving towards net. The header opportunity goes in! Jed Silverman, the header off the corner kick. And the Ramapo Raiders have struck first here in the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament. 33-13 to go in the second half, and Jed Silverman's header has given Ramapo the lead. I wish I could see who made that corner kick. I was unable to, but he'll get the assist. Jed Silverman, who has been in the middle of the action all evening long for Ramapo, nets the first goal. It is a header. About 6 minutes and 50 seconds or so into the second half. So now the pressure is put on Glen. They have 2 official shots on goal, and they now trail 1-0 to a really good Ramapo squad. Glen playing with a little bit more urgency, you can tell already. Trying to make something happen or at least maintain possession. Ramapo, even in the first half, did win the possession battle. Now it's Aiden Zoki fighting for it for Ramapo. We do have a whistle. They're not going to stop the clock, but Ramapo will get set up for another opportunity. 8 minutes gone by here in the second half. Ramapo has broken the ice. And they're now a little bit less than 32 minutes away from winning the freshman and varsity branches of this tournament. Who's going to get the Raiders started? It's going to be number 11, Caden O'Connell. He sends it towards net. Another header opportunity is made, but this time it is sent way over the net. Charles Garrett was right there, but if that header had been more on line, not so high up in the air, there was nothing he could do about it. So Glenrock catches a break. They have about 31 minutes, little over a half hour to try and knot this thing up. This is Owen Main with it. He's been in the middle of the action for Glenrock, had some of their best chances so far tonight. He's also one of the fastest players on the field. You can just tell that looking at those 22 players down on the pitch, he's one of the faster ones. I guess 24 if you include the goalies. Anyway, Alex Johnson intercepts it. Laura going to send it backwards as Ramapo looks to get the second goal. If they're able to take a multi-goal lead, that would obviously be huge. Ball finds its way to Main's foot. He ends up dumping it off. And the player he dumps it off to loses it. Ball knocked out of play. I believe that was Zachary Kaplan, number 23 for Glenrock. 1/2 hour to go here in regulation time. Ramapo does now have a 1-0 lead, so if we don't have another score, Ramapo will be the champions of Bergen County freshman boys soccer. Lots of time still to go. Dangerous opportunity there, so a member of Glenrock just kicked it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in opportunity for Ramapo. They throw it into Laura, but a whistle blows the play dead. Another throw-in. This is O'Connell with it. He threw it in initially. Ball winds up out of play, and this time it's going to belong to Glenrock. "1-0 Ramapo here at the Lewis F. Cole Intermediate School in Fort Lee, New Jersey. O'Connell dumps it off to a teammate, but a member of Glenrock knocks it out of play. That's Andrew Aragi. He's played well tonight. Teams battling the cold. We've had some unseasonably warm November days here the first month or so of the 11th month of the year, but today it feels like more of a late fall or winter night. It's probably only about 55 degrees on the field, if that. Kaplan passes it right to a member of Ramapo, and they take it the other way. O'Connell with some fancy footwork, and now going to try to settle it down for his team. Ramapo having no problem playing keep away, but there's more than 25 minutes to go, so I don't think they want to do that the whole time. There's actually more than 27 minutes to go, so plenty of time for Glenrock to make something happen. They do not have a shot here in the second half. I don't even know if they have any kind of shot, forget a shot on goal. Right now they're just trying to maintain it, but they're unable to. Now Glenrock has it. Drew Carlin fighting with several players in green and losing to those players in green. Sasanov has it now for the Panthers. He sends Grinberg on his way, but that pass is intercepted and knocked out of play. Substitution being made for Glenrock. That's going to be number 26, Daniel McCarthy, coming onto the pitch, as we have about 26.5 minutes to go here in the second half. Ball once again knocked out. It'll be Aragi throwing it in for the Panthers. And he's going to do it again. Ramapo had it, but they're going to lose it out of play again. And Aragi will once again toss it in. Looking for Grinberg. Finds him. Ball goes out of play off of Grinberg. So now Ramapo will send it the other way. Ramapo leading this one 1-0 on a header goal by Jed Silverman off a penalty kick, or a corner kick rather. Second time I've said that. Each team has 4 corner kicks. Only Ramapo has made one of them count. Neither team has a penalty kick. Ramapo has it. Jack Johnson getting pushed in the back, or I believe that's actually Alex Johnson, I should say, getting pushed. He still has it. What an unreal individual effort. He almost got that one to go. That is not a save for Charles Garrett. Johnson just narrowly missed the net. Member of Glen Rock is slow to get up. That's Lopez. Okay, so Lopez is walking it off. Alex Johnson is back with the rest of his team, and we are once again underway. Johnson fighting for it again. He's battling Owen Main. Dumps it off to a teammate who gets through. Nice slide tackle made by Joshua Kim. We play on as a Raider hits the turf. It's actually not turf. It is real grass. Or no, it's not. It is turf. Ball gets over the leaping try of Lopez. Glen Rock sends it the way they want, but they're unable to control. Kim gets it to Lopez. Tries to send Grinberg on his way. Carlin goes down, and that's a whistle. He was knocked down, if you want to say knocked, by Panaccio. So Glen Rock does control now. Panaccio and Johnson fighting for it, though. Winds up with Joshua Kim. Kim running with a full head of steam. And he loses it to O'Connell. Carlin gets it back. Looks for an open man. He had Grinberg, wasn't able to hit him. Is the ball going to go out of play? No, it will not. It stays in. Knocked out by a white-shirted player, so Ramapo will throw in, but they're going to slow down here. Looks like it's going to be Panaccio throwing in. Under 23 to play here in the second half. Johnson is sent on his way, but getting to the ball before he can is Charles Garrett. The Glen Rock goalkeeper has played well tonight. He's made 3 saves, but he has allowed a goal to Jed Silverman, and that's the difference in this one so far. A player on Glen Rock got hit in the face with that ball. He immediately pops back up. Throw in for Ramapo. Alex Johnson kicks it over his head, trying to find a teammate. He doesn't, almost gets re-involved in the play, and the ball is sent out of play by a member of the Panthers. Another throw in for Ramapo. I believe that was Sasanov trying to find Owen Main. He does, but Main loses it. Sasanov again. Panaccio is going to take it back for Ramapo, and the ball is eventually knocked away by Lopez, and a teammate of his is unable to save it. Little bit of a delay there. Ramapo able to throw in. Sasanov heads it away, and he heads it out of bounds. Now it'll be Glenrock getting to throw in. Kim finds Carlin. Grinberg with it, battling a few players. Sasanov will get on it for the Panthers. Finds a teammate. That pass is intercepted and headed away. Stays with Glenrock. Just about halfway through the second half of this championship match. 20 minutes and change to go. Only about 20 minutes standing in between Ramapo and this freshman tournament championship. Here's Alex Johnson trying to double the lead. Working around a few players, he backs it out. Ball stays with Ramapo. Briefly. Laura winds up with it and sends it back. Ramapo looking to maintain here and get another opportunity. Shot sent towards net. It's intercepted, and Joshua Kim gets it out of there. O'Connell trying to work around a few players, finds the cutting Laura. Laura to Johnson. Johnson, nice save made by Garrett. There was a rebound opportunity. Ramapo does still have it. Not close to the box right now. Glenrock winds up with it. Really good save by Garrett to keep the Panthers in this one. Johnson right on the doorstep. That's the second time here in the second half that he's been close to scoring a goal. Sasanov sends it high in the air. It's Grinberg chasing after it. Battling the referee as well as a couple green-shirted players. And it's going to be Ramapo controlling. They send Johnson on his way. There's one person in front of him. Now there's a few. Shot! Really nice save by Garrett. Diving to his left, Garrett knocks it away with two hands. Under 18 to play here in the second half. Johnson with 3 good opportunities to score here in the second half. Charles Garrett keeping his team alive with 2 really good saves, essentially on back-to-back plays. Glenrock has to get something going offensively, though. Garrett can make all the saves he wants, but if they don't find a way to get on the board here, they will lose this one. They have less than 17 and a half minutes to do it. And they don't have possession right now either. It's going to be Zaka throwing in for the Ramapo Raiders. Headed out of play by McCarthy on Glenrock. 17 to play in the second half. Little two-man game being played by Sinandi and Zoki. Ultimately, the ball goes out of play off of Ramapo. So an opportunity for Glenrock. They have not had many. Ramapo winning the possession battle in both halves and currently leading 1-0. This is Grinberg with it. His pass is stolen. Johnson with it yet again. He's feeling it right now. He ends up passing to O'Connell. O'Connell splits a couple defenders and ultimately loses it, but Laura maintains possession. Sanandi with it, sends it towards Johnson. Johnson now battling Kaplan, I believe, and Glenrock able to send Grinberg on his way, past just out of his reach, and it goes out of play, so Ramapo will get it once again. Ramapo throws it in as a substitution is made. This is Alex Johnson with it, trying to get past Kim. He's unable to. Now battling Lopez. Johnson goes down. No call. Ball out of play off of Ramapo. Clock starting to favor the Raiders. We're at about 15 minutes to play here in the second half. Alex Johnson wants another shot. At this point, another goal for Ramapo would really be a dagger. Ball winds up out of play. Nice play by a guy on the sidelines. He really caught it and then while spinning around threw the ball in. Got to get the ball in as quickly as possible. If you're Glenrock, every second counts at this point. They still do not have a shot on goal here in the second half. Ramapo has 6 overall, with Silverman's header finding the back of the net. Kaplan with the left foot for Glenrock. McCarthy is right there, battling for it. He goes down, and we do in fact have a whistle called against O'Connell. Glenrock really needed that. This is Sasanov, who has lost the gray beanie he was wearing in the first half, with it. Players getting set up. He's going to kick it from the 23-yard line on the football field. The header opportunity is made, and it winds up in the hands of the Ramapo goalkeeper. Let's call that a save. It is his first of the second half. Third of the night. Ramapo trying to finish this one off. Glenrock trying to make a comeback. Players fighting for it near midfield. Now it's Alex Johnson with it. Johnson looking for O'Connell. He's able to keep it in play. He dumps it back, and Joshua Kim knocks it out of harm's way for Glenrock. Trying to go back in with it was the goal scorer, Silverman, but he was unable to keep it in play. Winds up with Johnson again. Johnson sheds a defender. Tries to pass, but he ends up losing it. Glenrock trying to make something happen, but Sanandi intercepts that pass. Number 12 is down for Glenrock. And we're going to have a whistle. I don't have a number 12 on the roster for Glenrock. Right now, he is holding his right leg, and the clock has been stopped with 12 minutes and 17 seconds remaining here in the second half. On the roster sheet that I have from head coach Thomas Dutzar, there is a player listed as Gavin Quigley, but he was not numbered. I'm not sure if that is the player who is currently down, but he is being looked at the 40-yard line. The players have dispersed somewhat, not crowding around him, so hopefully that's a good sign that this isn't too serious of an issue. The Ramapo team is regrouping on their side of the field as the Glen Rock player gets up and makes his way to the sideline under his own power. If you're Ramapo, though, you don't want to lose any of your momentum. They've dominated time of possession both in the first and second halves. And with 12 minutes and 17 seconds left in this one, they currently lead 1-0 on the goal by Jed Silverman. Came in the first 10 minutes of the half. So now both teams are taking the field again. And they will start things off at about the midpoint of the pitch. Clock is running again. Johnson goes down. Ramapo still looking for that second goal. Also, all the time they possess it is time that Glen Rock doesn't have it. That shot is sent over net. Garrett made a play for it, but it was just a matter of was it going to be too high, and it was. Kim settles things down for Glen Rock. There is under 12 to play. If Glen Rock is able to tie it, we would go to a shortened 10-minute period, but Glen Rock has to tie it first. And they have to have it in order to tie it. Now Carlin sends Sasanov on his way. Sasanov trying to get Winberg going, or check that, that's Maine. Maine outruns a couple players. He has it. Sharp angle try. Shot sent towards net, they score! Owen Maine dumped it off, and the game-tying goal is scored for Glen Rock. Beautifully set up play. Maine running down the left sideline. He ends up dumping it off, and with 11:18 to go, Glen Rock has tied this championship match up. So we have resumed play. The crowd has been electrified. There's under 11 minutes to go in regulation, and we are once again tied at 1 this time. I believe, but am not positive, that that was number 27, Jacob Sasanov, scoring the equalizing goal. Now it's Lopez with it. Now Glen Rock is buzzing, just as Ramapo was immediately after their goal. Johnson trying to make something happen for Ramapo. On more than one occasion, he almost made it 2-0, but now those saves by Charles Garrett look huge, allowing the game to be tied, which it was by Sasanov, now under 10 minutes to play. Now, once again, both teams jockeying for the ball, trying to make something happen. Grinberg sends a player on his way, and he is knocked down. Looks like we're going to play on, but it will be a corner kick for Sasanov and the Panthers. This is their 5th corner kick of the night. They have not scored on any of the previous 4. Sasanov lets it fly. The header attempt by Carlin goes safely out of play. No real danger there for Ramapo. Glenrock was able to hold off the onslaught, keep it a 1-goal game. And now the Panthers are buzzing. Ramapo has to make sure they don't give the whole thing back and then some. Still 8.5 to go. Lots of drama still to go. Lots of time still to play. Each team just trying to control the ball right now. Looks like it's Kaplan who wins that battle. Both teams just passing it back. Something opened up for Glenrock momentarily. They still have it. Carlin sends a man on his way. I believe that's Sasanov with it. He sends it towards net. What a save! Glenrock still has it. Another shot is blocked by a defender. Some tremendous goalie saves here in the second half. That Ramapo defender who blocked it is down. Now Johnson is on his way, but the ball gets past him and goes to Garrett. That was, I believe, Laura, who made a phenomenal defensive play, really just ate that ball in the gut for Ramapo, but he kept this one tied. Having a hard time standing on his feet, so the clock is stopped with 6:58 to go, and that is Julian Laura. Again, having a hard time getting up. To be honest with you folks, that shot on goal might not have hit him in the stomach. Let's also not forget the tremendous goalie save that was made by Ramapo's goalkeeper, diving to his right to make what I believe is his 4th save of the night. These goalies really have both played well. They've each made at least 1 or 2 standout saves. And of course, in a tie game, that's amplified even more. So Laura will head off the pitch, assisted by one of his coaches. They have not restarted play yet. When they do, there will be 6:58 to go on the clock. It's going to be Glenrock's number 10, Drew Carlin, starting things off with the ball here at the 50-yard line of the football field. Or are they going to move it? No, they're not. And we are once again underway. An exciting second half as that ball is taken away by Ramapo. This is Silverman with it. Finds his leading man. That's number 36. I do not have a 36 on the roster sheet for Ramapo. He gets tangled up with Lopez, and there's a whistle against Ramapo. Last 5 minutes or so have been dominated by Glenrock. Players fighting for it, including number 14 on Glenrock. It's going to wind up with Carlin. He finds Sasanov, who has the game-tying goal. Some fancy footwork for Jacob Sasanov. Kim sends it forward for Maine. Maine had the assist on that goal. And it's going to wind up back with Ramapo. Now Glenrock has it again. Grinberg trying to get past a couple defenders. He's unable to, and Ramapo will send it the other way. Kim once again gets it out of harm's way. Little bit of a squib kick there, and Caden O'Connell knocks it away. Five minutes to go here in the second half. We are tied at 1, which means we're 5 minutes away from a sudden death overtime. Silverman chasing after it. He keeps it in play, but he loses it to Grinberg. Ramapo winds up back with it. Ramapo with it again. Lopez acting as a defender. The ball is going to wind up out of play, and I think it's going to stick with the Raiders. It is, and they're going to have a corner kick. No, they're not. They're just going to throw it in. Shot sent towards net, and nothing comes of that. Owen Main after it again. Keeps it in play well. Parting defenders like the Red Sea, but ultimately Ramapo winds up with it again. Now here's Carlin with it. Carlin gets it past Johnson to Grinberg. Stolen away by Sinandi. Sinandi finds a teammate. Trying not to lose it to Glenrock. He does not. Sinandi with it again. Finds a teammate who passes out. Shot sent towards net, way over the crossbar. 3 minutes to go here in the second half. 77 minutes of action. Glenrock and Ramapo are tied at 1 here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Looks like this one is going to end up 2-1. Only question is who's going to get that second game-winning goal, and will it be in regulation or in overtime? This is Sasanov on it now for Glenrock. He had the game-tying goal. Sends it towards net. And running out of his net to make the save is the Ramapo goalkeeper. That should be his 5th save of the night, which would match Garrett, assuming my math is correct. Garrett might have 6 saves, but I think he has 5. Now 2 minutes to play here in the second half. Ball is knocked out of play, and I think it will belong to Ramapo. .90 ticks of the clock left here in regulation. Tied at 1. Ramapo gets another chance to throw it in, and it is headed away by Lopez. It does go out of play. Ramapo throws in again. Main and Sasanov want to go off on a breakaway for Glenrock. There's a minute left here in regulation. Glenrock throws it in. Carlin heads it to a member of Ramapo. Kim missed it, but Garrett was there to clean things up. Almost a very costly mistake for Joshua Kim, who's played well tonight. Half a minute to go in regulation. Julian Laura has come back onto the pitch for Ramapo. Bodying with Carlin now. 20 seconds to go in regulation. Glenrock might have time for one more push. Member of Ramapo sends it out of play, and that might mean we don't have enough time. Maybe Ramapo has time for one more run. They throw it in. Shot is made. It was actually pretty close, but not close enough, and so 80 minutes will not be enough time to decide who wins the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament. We're going to have a 5-minute break, and then the Ramapo and Glen Rock freshmen will do battle. I will be right back. You should not go anywhere. I am Tommy Aquilina, back here with you at the Lewis F. Cole Intermediate School and the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. This is the site of the Bergen County Coaches Association Tournament Championship game, at least for the freshman level. Ramapo and Glen Rock played to a 1-1 tie through 80 minutes of action. So now we're going to have potentially, if we need 2 sudden death overtime periods that will consist of 10 minutes of time. Ramapo's varsity team won the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament. Their freshman team is looking to do the same. A scoreless tie was broken less than 10 minutes into the second half when Jed Silverman headed in a corner kick opportunity. But with less than 10 minutes to go in the second half, Owen Main made a phenomenal individual play and got it to Jacob Sasanov, who knotted the game up at 1. So we are underway here in the first of potentially 2 overtime periods. Again, I'm Tommy Aquilina. This is Fort Lee. You're watching the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube stream. Ramapo in green, Glen Rock in white. Glen Rock trying to make something happen here. It is sudden death, so obviously it's all about getting that first goal. Alex Johnson almost broke out a few times for Ramapo in the second half. He had, I think, 3 really good opportunities to score. Charles Garrett played phenomenally after his team went down 1-0. Also, a really nice couple saves made by the Ramapo goalkeeper to keep things tied at 1. And now here we are with a whistle being blown 1 minute and 7 seconds into overtime. There is a Panther on the turf, and it looks like it is Zachary Kaplan. So a couple coaches out from the sideline to take a look at Kaplan. Mentioned a few times tonight that it is chilly here in Fort Lee. It feels like a November day after we had several that were unseasonably warm. Kaplan's still not up. Trying to get up now, and he's going to need someone's help. Gets a nice hand as he stands somewhat under his own power. When we resume, there will be 8:53 to go here in this first overtime period. Kaplan going to be subbed out for number 25, Jack Merchant. Haven't called his name yet tonight, but now Merchant out there for the most important part of the game so far, overtime. Gotta love sudden death sports in a championship round. Play has resumed, and so has the clock. Ramapo to throw in. Glen Rock has come out a little bit more aggressive here in the early going of overtime. Ramapo trying to get it to Alex Johnson. Here's Owen Main with it, the very dangerous Panther. He loses it to Sanandi. Neither team controlling the ball for very long so far in overtime. Main looks for a teammate, but that pass is intercepted and Ramapo has it the other way. Pinocchio sends it back to a teammate. Ramapo still with it. It's Pinocchio again. to Sinando to Zaka. Now it's Zoki with it. Back to Sinandi. Some safe passes for Ramapo. They lose it. Sinandi takes it back. Shot is sent towards net once again. Joshua Kim is there to knock that ball out of harm's way. 3 minutes gone by here in the first overtime period. Ramapo and Glenrock tied at 1. It's going to be a corner kick opportunity for Ramapo, their first of overtime. This is how they scored their goal. The header goes just a little too high over the net. And I believe that was Silverman, the goal scorer for Ramapo. So 1 out of 5 now are the Raiders on converting corner kicks. 6 minutes to play here in overtime. Silverman has it again. Looking for a teammate, sends it too far, and Glenrock will take over. Owen Main chasing after it now. Grinberg gets it to him. Pass was made to number 14 on Glenrock. I don't have a 14 on their roster sheet. Ball ends up getting away from him. Now Ramapo trying to control. They send it forward for Johnson, and Johnson heads it right to Drew Carlin on the other team. Carlin, one of the Panthers' co-captains. It's intercepted by a member of Ramapo, ball going the other way. We're halfway through overtime. Ball headed out by a member of the Panthers. Ball thrown into Silverman. He kicks or knees it out of play. I couldn't tell. Neither team has gotten much going here in overtime. Glenrock trying to change that. Kim boots it high in the air, and it is going to stay in play. Here's Merchant chasing after it, settling it down, trying to get around a man. He's unable to. That shot went nowhere. Ramapo keeps it in, and they're going to send it the other way, or try to. Glenrock will wind back up with it. They're buzzing a little bit here. Just under 4 minutes to play in overtime. Merchant chasing after it. Goes out of play off of Ramapo. First corner kick opportunity of overtime for the Panthers. And we're going to have a substitution. Head coach Thomas Dutzar going to get one of his taller players out there in Kaplan. It's not a corner kick. They throw it in. Trying to maintain control here. Ball winds up out of play. And it's going to be white ball. About 3 minutes to go in overtime. They get it to Grinberg. Laura tried to steal it, and now Ramapo controls only briefly. Sasanov after it. Grinberg has it for Glenrock. Battling with a player, he dumps it off. Shot is blocked away, and Johnson will come away with it. He beats Lopez, sends a man on his way, and Joshua Kim once again there as the last line of defense for Glen Rock. Garrett was kind of caught in no man's land on that play. A good defensive stand by Kim. They're going to say the ball went out of play off of Kim. So now Laura is making his way to the left corner. And it will be a corner kick opportunity for Ramapo. Their 6th of the evening. Laura sends it on its way. His shot was short of the goal, didn't really get much lift on it, and now Glen Rock is going the other way, or trying to. Ramapo trying to keep it on this side of the pitch, and they're going to. Zoki chasing after it, but it's going to be out of play off of the Raiders. Minute and 15 seconds to go in overtime. The first overtime, that is. Glen Rock makes a substitution. Daniel McCarthy comes off. This is Carlin battling for it now. That's number 12 who just came in for Glen Rock. He has it. Gives it to Maine, who tries to give it back to him, but now Zoki and Ramapo has it the other way. Under a minute to play here in the first overtime. Zoki trying to make something happen. Gets past a player, but another player knocks it away. Ramapo still controlling it. It's Laura with it now. Gives it to a teammate. There's 40 seconds to go in overtime. Laura going up against the much taller Kaplan. Zoki has it. 25 seconds ago, he sends it towards net, and it's just barely over. Just over the net. Garrett made a leaping try, but there was nothing he could do about that one. Zoki's shot went just a little bit high, and that should send us to a second overtime. 5 seconds left, 4 and now 3, and that is in fact going to do it. 90 minutes is not enough for these two teams. They both want that championship, and they both want more soccer, so we're going to see more. Only 2 minutes in between overtimes, and then we're going to have another 10-minute sudden death period, and at that point, no penalty kicks or anything like that. At that point, if we're still tied at 1, these teams will be named co-champions of Bergen County freshman soccer. I'm going to step aside briefly one more time. Tommy Aquilina back here with you on the YouTube stream. This is the Fort Lee YouTube stream for their athletics department. The town of Fort Lee hosting the freshman Bergen County Coaches Association Tournament Championship, being played between the Ramapo Raiders and the Glen Rock Panthers. They've played 90 minutes. And they will play one more 10-minute overtime to determine the champion. If these two teams are both tied, once again, they will be named co-champions. which is no fun. So I do hope someone ends up getting the game-winning goal here in the next 10 minutes. The teams have switched sides of the field one final time. Right now, it is not Ramapo with it. They are going to say that Grinberg got pushed in the back. So early advantage Glenrock here in the second overtime period. It'll be Sasanov who tied the game with his goal late in the second period, kicking from about the football field's 46-yard line. Sends it towards net. It is headed up in the air, now deadened, and we have another whistle. It's going to go the other way. Both teams trying to work quickly, as again, this is it. 9 minutes now, standing between these two teams and a championship. Sasanov heads it down. Owen Main is battling with George Zaka, and it goes out of play. I guess you can give Main the advantage there. It's Glenrock ball. Main got the assist on Sasanov's goal. Here is Sasanov heading it down. Main has it, sends it towards net, and he sends it over the net. Good opportunity for the Panthers. Ultimately, they're unable to find the back of the net. Meanwhile, a lot of time has gone by since Ramapo last scored. It was not quite 10 minutes into the second period that Jed Silverman got the Raiders on the board. Since then, they've coughed up their one-goal lead, and that's about it. A very evenly played game. Both teams with the same number of goalie saves, according to my calculations. One more corner kick for Ramapo, and obviously the same number of goals. Couldn't see who that was for Glenrock. He totally whiffed on a shot attempt, so now Ramapo takes it the other way. Stolen away by Glenrock. This is Grinberg with it. He sends it towards net, and no real danger of that getting past the goalkeeper. Once again, not trying to waste any time here. Ramapo has not had a really good scoring opportunity here in the second overtime. Seven minutes and change remaining in the season, really. Will we have one champion or two? Sasanov and Carlin battling with several players for Glenrock. Ramapo is going to get it out of harm's way. Alex Johnson, you know, he wants to make something happen. Almost made it 2-0 on a couple different occasions in regulation. Now here's Carlin on his way. Ball knocked out of the danger zone by Caden O'Connell. Settled down by Jed Silverman. He's the Ramapo goal scorer. Sends a man on his way. Garrett is going to retreat to his net. Shot sent towards net and knocked down by Garrett. Another good save. That would have won the championship for Ramapo. Now Sasanov has it. 6 minutes to go. In the second overtime, shot sent towards net, way too high. You can argue that Charles Garrett has been the player of the game for Glenrock. He's made 2 or 3, maybe even 4 really, really quality saves. And his best saves have all come when Glenrock was either down by 1 or tied. Ball knocked out of play. It's going to be white ball, so Glenrock gets to throw in. And throw in they do. Couple players chasing after it. No real opportunity there for a sharp angle try. Good defense by Ramapo. We are just about halfway through this second overtime period. Will we see a goal scored in the next 5 minutes? Glenrock trying to settle things down here. Member of the Panthers goes down, and that's going to lead to a whistle. Another chance for Glenrock. It'll be Sasanov making the kick as they set up. There's 4.5 minutes left in overtime. Sasanov sends it, and it's headed away. I believe that was a member of Ramapo getting in there. Both teams jockeying for it. Aragi keeps it alive. Now Lopez keeps it alive. Aragi once again sends it towards net, and it's going to be handled by the Ramapo goalkeeper on a hop. He'll kick it with his left foot while jumping in midair. Gets his team going. Alex Johnson a step too late there. Under 4 to play in the second overtime. Now this is Silverman after it for Ramapo. He goes the wrong way. And who was that out on? Aragi. So Silverman will throw in. Couple players get tangled up. Winberg comes away with it for Glenrock. Almost sends it out of bounds. It's kept in. Zaka trying to head it away. He's able to. Both teams fighting for it now. Winberg whiffed on a shot, but Sasanov has it. He falls, maintains possession, passes it away. There's 3 minutes to go. Couple players collide. Opportunity here for Ramapo. 2 players hit the deck. No call. Wide open shot for Laura, and the defender knocks it away before he could get there. Would have been a golden opportunity for Julian Laura. Ramapo throws it in. Here's Laura with it. Ball hits a player in the back. Another shot sent towards net. Out of the reach of Silverman, but he keeps it in play. Silverman with a wild shot. It's headed out of there by Joshua Kim. Winberg whiffs on it, and so Ramapo maintains. Now it is kicked out of harm's way. Owen Main is after it. He's got one man to beat. Did he beat that man? Doesn't matter because he fell down. That was Caden O'Connell battling Owen Main for it and keeping pace with one of the fastest players on the pitch. Still over 1.5 minutes to go here in the second overtime period. Remember, no stoppage time, no penalty kicks. This is it for this one. Winberg has it. It is going to be let go out of play by O'Connell. He immediately picks it back up and tries to get the Raiders started again. Time running low. 70 seconds left in the second overtime. Sasanov has it. There's under 1 minute to go. Who'd that go out on? It went out off of Glenrock. So maybe Ramapo is going to have the last really good chance to score a goal. Maybe not. Carlin trying to send it the other way. This has been such a hard-fought championship match. Here's Carlin with it. Middle of the field. Almost a shot attempt. How did that not go in? Sasanov found a man. There was a defender there, and somehow the defender prevented it from going in. There was a wide-open net. Sasanov again, but it's handled by the Ramapo goalie. So much for Ramapo getting the last good opportunity. That might be the last one. There's only 10 seconds to go. Not enough time for Glen Rock to do anything. Not really enough time for Ramapo to do anything. One last shot for Johnson. He does send it towards net. He scores, but after the whistle blew, no extra time is given, so some Ramapo players are running onto the pitch, but it is all for naught. Alex Johnson came so close to scoring multiple times in the second half, and if there was an extra second or two on the clock in the second overtime period, he would have scored the championship clinching goal for his team. Instead, we play 100 minutes of American football for the Ramapo and Glen Rock freshman teams to wind up tied. Only 2 goals scored, but that was a very exciting matchup. Both teams had plenty opportunities. There were impressive goals scored. There were impressive saves made, but ultimately no single champion. So let's wrap things up here. The Ramapo Raiders and the Glen Rock Panthers are co-champions here in the Bergen County Coaches Association tournament. That's the freshmen again. The Ramapo varsity team won the whole thing. The Ramapo freshman team ends up tied with Glen Rock. The goal scorers were Jed Silverman for Ramapo and Jacob Sasanov for Glen Rock. I'm Tommy Aquilina. Thank you so much for spending part of your Tuesday evening here in Fort Lee. Once again, Ramapo and Glen Rock, co-champions for freshman boys soccer. See you next time, everybody. Have a good one.